Hart was born with a very serious birth defect, and he had to go on a heart-lung bypass machine.
Hart was diagnosed with congenital diaphragmatic hernia, which caused him to suffer brain damage and hearing loss.
He came with a lot of equipment, and he started on life support ventilation at home. He received physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. Insurance only pays for so much of it. We spent out of our pocket nearly $500,000. You do what you can do for your child. It took everything. It took everything we had. And then we find out for certain about the developmental delay, along with being on the spectrum. And this meant looking for a place, what to do. There was nothing. There was nothing. How can that be?
As Hart got older, Chris worried about the future. Who would take care of Hart when she was unable to care for him any longer?
At night, when everyone was asleep, I would search on the computer, and I would search for places, anywhere. I knew that it would take divine intervention. I knew that. And so there was one night, an article came up from Orlando Sentinel, and it was about a John Gill and his wife and Quest Village. And I contacted Quest, and we came over and loved it. And with Quest, you have everything.
Quest Village is a 48-unit apartment complex behind Waterford Lakes Town Center in East Orange County for independent living for individuals with developmental disabilities. So Quest Village is the first apartment complex of its kind. It just gives those individuals the confidence and the competence to experience life as fully as they can. And it fits perfectly with our mission, which is to give individuals with developmental disabilities the opportunity to experience a full life.
The first day was very exciting, and he was he was raring to go. He would have moved in right there. I was ready too. That was my goal. I had promised him I would be with him to independence, and here we were. The opportunity. I just prayed that it would work. I prayed that he would fit in.
The first time I came here with my mom, with my family, I met different staff who work there, and they told me about they had some kind of game in the patio for me to play with them when I first met my neighbors.
In addition to assisting with off-site services, Quest staff also provide on-site support to help clients like Hart with meal prep, cooking, medication administration, housekeeping, and other home-related tasks to help residents achieve and maintain their independence.
The Quest staff taught him how to do housekeeping, and then he took over that. The Quest staff taught him how to shop and how to cook meals and how to be places on time and how to ride the bus.
Hart, when he came to Quest Village, he was very reserved, I'd say. I know he lived with mom, so this is his first time being out on his own. And just watching him grow over the years. He now has met so many people, not just with Quest Village, but out in the community that he hangs out with.
For the first time in my life, I was able to step back. I didn't even know what that felt like.
The other part that sometimes gets lost is the impact on the families. It gives them this ability to finally see their loved one live in a more typical fashion than they might have been expecting.
For the first time in 25 years, I got a life.
When he was with mom living at home, he wasn't able to go out and experience life as a young adult. He did work with Quest Employment Services that assisted him with finding employment, and they love him there.
Hart's doing great. In 2024, he transitioned over to SeaWorld, where he's a guest ambassador. He's doing very well. His team members love him, and they all say he's a hard worker, and they're happy he's on the team.
I'm sure that's a pizza as well. I can make pizza to pull the receipt from the customers and just follow the instructions of what they have. I love working my job at SeaWorld.
Hope for every client that walks through my doors, we afford them the opportunity to not only get into a job, but also stay in that job for an extensive period of time. You know, they all want to have a purpose, a sense of purpose, become independent. And part of independence is being in the workforce and making a sustainable wage.
This is a basic need to have friends and to be loved and to be accepted. And for the first time in his life, he had friends.
We do have movie nights here and want to hang out with my friends. And sometimes we do have games, play video games, play pool table and stuff like that.
He deserves a life worth living. He's come so far, just incredible. We need more Quest Villages. It does, you know, it takes a village, and it's so appropriately named. It does take a village, and we didn't have a village. I never thought in my dreams that he would be able to be independent.